You ever watch a moment unfold and realize you're seeing something that could change everything? That's what happened recently in a congressional hearing when Congressman Thomas Massie questioned FBI Director Cash Patel about the Epstein case. At first glance, it seemed straightforward. Patel told the committee that there was no credible evidence showing Epstein trafficked women to anyone else. That's a clear statement, right? But Massie didn't take it at face value. He brought documents, FBI interview summaries, and official records showing that at least 20 men were implicated. These weren't vague rumors. They were official records, with names, positions, and connections, all part of the government's own files. Suddenly, no evidence didn't sound so simple. It's easy to see why moments like this make people uneasy. When you hear one statement from someone in authority and then see documents that tell a very different story, it shakes your sense of certainty. It makes you wonder who is telling the truth and whether anyone is actually being held accountable. That feeling of uncertainty is natural, but it's also exactly why understanding your rights matters. When you interact with government agencies, law enforcement, or any investigative body, your primary tools are clarity and persistence. You have the right to factual answers. You have the right to see the records and understand what they contain. And you have the right to ask questions in a clear, calm, and methodical way. Even if the topic is tense or uncomfortable, those rights don't disappear. Massie's approach demonstrates how to do this effectively. He didn't yell, he didn't make dramatic accusations, and he didn't appeal to emotions. He simply asked direct questions and referred to the documents in front of him. That's an important principle. When seeking clarity or accountability, stick to what you can show, what you can prove, and what's in the record. It's the difference between getting answers and getting a vague, unsatisfying response. One of the first things Massie did was lay out the facts step by step. He presented documents detailing Epstein's connections, including interviews and FBI records. He highlighted the names of at least 20 men mentioned in the case files, people from different industries and high-profile positions. There were billionaires, a royal prince, entertainers, and corporate executives. The details themselves aren't just shocking. They serve a practical lesson. Official records exist, and they carry information that must be addressed even when powerful people are involved. Understanding how this works is crucial in any situation where you need protection or clarity. Step 1 is to rely on evidence, not assumptions. Step 2 is to ask direct questions about that evidence. Step 3 is to remain calm, even if the answers are uncomfortable or evasive. Massie did all of these things. He didn't rush, he didn't guess, and he didn't rely on speculation. He presented the facts, then asked for confirmation. Here's what you should not do. You should not accept vague assurances when documentation exists. You should not assume that because someone in authority sounds confident, the information is complete. And you should not repeat unverified claims, because doing so spreads confusion rather than clarity. In high-pressure situations, those mistakes can leave you misinformed, unprotected, and frustrated. This is true whether you're dealing with law enforcement, government agencies, corporate investigations, or even complex personal legal matters. When the stakes are high, the right approach is always the same. Know your rights, rely on evidence, ask clear questions, and remain calm. You don't need to be a lawyer to apply this principle. It's about methodical thinking and clear communication. Massie also made a critical point about transparency. He contrasted the FBI's willingness to engage with social media influencers with its hesitation to meet with actual victims. That's more than just optics. It's a reminder that agencies and institutions sometimes prioritize appearance over substance. In any situation where you're seeking accountability, it's worth noting who is being engaged and who is being ignored. That can guide how you ask your questions, whom you appeal to, and how you document your efforts. Another key point Massie raised involved the CIA files related to Epstein. Patel could not confirm whether he had personally reviewed all relevant files, and he had to carefully phrase his responses to avoid committing one way or another. This moment shows that even high-ranking officials may not have complete knowledge, or may be constrained in what they can disclose. For you, in real-world situations, it's a reminder that uncertainty is not your enemy. Your job is to clarify it. Ask for records, confirm what has been reviewed, and document any gaps in information. The hearing also highlighted the value of putting questions and documents on the record. Massie introduced multiple articles and official documents that are now part of the congressional record. That means these questions and facts can't be ignored. They can be referenced in future hearings, investigations, or legal actions. For anyone navigating a complex or high-stress situation, this is a critical lesson. Always get your questions and evidence documented. That way, you are protected, and there is a clear trail for accountability. It's easy to focus on the dramatic parts of this hearing: the names, the high-profile individuals, the tense exchanges, but the deeper lesson is procedural. Massie didn't need theatrics to make his point. He relied on preparation, evidence, and precision. And that's exactly what works when you need to protect yourself or insist on accountability in any situation. So what can you take away from this? First, always know your rights. You have the right to accurate information, the right to request records, and the right to insist that questions be answered clearly. Second, rely on evidence rather than assumptions or rumors. Ask questions grounded in what's documented. Third, remain calm and factual. High-stress situations can make people flustered, but staying composed gives you authority and clarity. Fourth, document everything. Written records, emails, official filings, they are your protection and your leverage. Even when you face someone with authority, whether it's a government official, an agency, or a corporate executive, the same principles apply. Calm persistence, focus on facts, and reliance on evidence are your strongest tools. You don't have to be aggressive, and you don't have to raise your voice. You simply have to ask the right questions, in the right way, using the right sources. This hearing shows that power and preparation matter, but so does methodical, calm action. Massie didn't make wild accusations. He didn't play politics. He demonstrated what happens when someone insists on clarity, relies on evidence, and documents every step. That's the principle that applies to all of us. And finally, remember this: you are entitled to clarity and accountability. Systems are complex, but your rights are clear. Ask questions. Check the records. Stay calm. And if something doesn't make sense, keep asking until it does. That approach protects you and ensures the truth is preserved. Moments like the Massie Patel hearing are rare, but the lessons are universal. In high-stress, high-stakes situations, preparation, clarity, and calm persistence are far more powerful than panic or assumptions. Those are the tools that protect you, that hold systems accountable, and that ensure fairness even when it seems impossible. The next time you face a situation where answers are evasive or documents are unclear, remember this hearing. Remember that even when authority hesitates, you have rights, you have tools, and you can insist on clarity. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you ensure accountability. And that's how you make sure the record reflects the truth, not just convenient statements.